I feel the Spirit moving in me. I feel the Spirit moving in me.
Oh. Well, what if there was a reality show called Spiritual Makeover, Spiritual Extreme Soul Edition, right? The host would say, this week, we're taking Annie from a hot mess to hot Messiah. We're going to meditate her anxiety away. We're going to yoga her trauma into submission and affirmation her way to enlightenment. All today. Would you come? Would you be a contestant in our new show? Yes? We'd watch it. Heck, we'd apply to be in it, wouldn't we? You know, we've been conditioned to believe that we're just one workshop, one more book, one more breathwork session away from enlightenment. Yes? But spirituality is not a makeover show. It's not about becoming someone else. Yeah. It's about coming home to yourself. Yeah? Some of us, and probably just a couple of us, grew up believing that we weren't whole. We grew up believing that we were projects, right? Fix this, improve that, try harder, pray more, meditate longer. And if we're honest, many of us came to spirituality hoping that it would finally finish us, right? Finally make us acceptable, right? Yeah, the problem is that if we believe that we're broken, we chase our lives, chase our worthiness instead of resting in it. Right? We don't love ourselves. We manage ourselves. We critique ourselves. We exhaust ourselves. Take a breath with me. Are you exhausted? This talk is titled The Courage to Love Yourself. The truth is, you are not a problem to be fixed. You are a mystery to be befriended. Loving yourself isn't self-indulgence or ego. It's courage. Courage to stop waging war with who you think you are and start offering yourself the same compassion you give other people. And when that happens, when love replaces fixing, everything changes. Today we're going to explore 3 basic truths, essential truths about self-love that will help us to move from self-improvement to self-compassion, from fixing ourselves to befriending ourselves. So part 1 is the illusion of the finished self, right? We exhaust ourselves trying to be good enough when wholeness is our nature all along. In Buddhism, there's a teaching called the Buddha nature. It's the idea that enlightenment isn't something we achieve, it's something we uncover. Like a diamond covered in mud. Our true nature is already luminous. We just need to wash away the layers of judgment, conditioning that obscure the truth of who we are. Zen Master Suzuki put it beautifully. He said, each of you is perfect the way you are. And you could use a little improvement. Do you hear the paradox there? You're really whole and you're really growing. The difference is, where does that growth come from? Self-rejection? From the belief that you're fundamentally broken? Or does it come from self-acceptance? From the recognition that you are already worthy of love? Because here's the truth. Growth that comes from self-hatred is just more self-hatred. Is more self-hatred in disguise. But the growth that comes from self-love, that's transformation. I love Dr. Kristen Neff of the University of Texas. She says, think about this, when we criticize ourselves harshly, our brains don't distinguish between that criticism and being physically attacked. Right? When we criticize ourselves, our brain thinks that we're being attacked. The same neural pathways light up. The amygdala, our threat detection system goes into high alert, flooding our bodies with cortisol, the stress hormone. We literally perceive ourselves as the enemy. But when we offer ourselves compassion, everything changes. The caregiving system within us kicks in. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, is released. Our nervous system calms. Breathe into that, yeah? And here's the beautiful part. Brain imaging studies show that treating ourselves with kindness literally rewires our neural pathways towards resilience. Do you want that? Treating ourselves with compassion rewires our brain and makes it so that we are more resilient. So this just isn't spiritual philosophy or some woo-woo idea. It's neuroscience. You know, science is proving now the spiritual principles that we've come to know, that they have scientific reasons for what happens. I love that. In the ancient Hindu scriptures, the Upanishads, they teach the idea of Tatvam Usi, which means thou art that. Your essential self, what they call the Atman, is not separate from the divine. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop. Think about that for a moment. You know, when we look at ourselves or speak to ourselves with contempt or cruelty, we're essentially rejecting the divine of who we are. Right? Self-love isn't arrogance. It's recognition. It's recognizing the sacred in ourselves the same way we want to see it in everyone else. Charles Fillmore, one of the co-founders of Unity, taught that we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. We're not broken beings trying to become spiritual. We're not flawed creatures hoping to earn God's love, for God's sakes. But we're expressions of the divine, right? What would change in your life if you stop treating yourself as a problem to be solved. What would change in your life if you stopped treating yourself as a problem to be solved? So the second part of this talk is titled Befriending Your Shadow. And some of you might be thinking, oh, okay, Rev, I hear you, but there are parts of me that I just don't like, right? Parts I'm ashamed of, parts I've tried to fix or hide or deny. Are you saying I should just accept those too? What do you think? Yes, because true self-love includes all of you, even the parts you've tried to exile. Carl Jung taught about what he called a shadow. And what I think is interesting that those parts of ourselves that we've tried to drown or push away or push into the darkness that we felt like didn't fit who we want to be or who we want to show in the world. But he also said something that's very profound. He said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Take a breath on that. Right? Awareness. This is why we teach awareness and why we spend time in meditation. Looking at why do I feel the way I feel? In other words, the things that we don't acknowledge, the things that we refuse to befriend, end up running the show in the shadows. But here's the neat thing about the shadow. There is a good side about the shadow because it doesn't just contain our darkness, right? It often contains our unexpressed gifts, our creativity, our power, the things that we have been told were too much or not appropriate or not spiritual enough. Sometimes what we're most ashamed of is actually what wants to come alive in us. The path forward isn't elimination, it's integration. It's wholeness. Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Buddhist monk, taught a practice that really changed my life. He said that we should hold our suffering the way we would a crying baby. Imagine that. Right? Instead of saying, shut up, or be quiet, or stop it, or what's wrong with you, or why are you so needy? Get it together. We can hold that part of us with tenderness, with love, and whisper, I'm here. I'm here for you. I love you. Imagine saying that to the parts of you that are hurting. When you're angry or fearful, just to say, it's okay. I love you. It's okay. I'm here for you. Hello, my anxiety. I see you. I know you're trying to protect me. I'm here for you. Hello, my shame. I know you've been carrying a heavy burden. Let me help you carry it. This practice transforms our relationship with difficult emotions. From warfare to companionship, from rejection to embrace, from violence to tenderness. Dr. Neff offers 3 steps she calls the self-compassion break. The first one is mindfulness, right? It's a mindfulness to acknowledge what you're feeling. Right? To even say, this is a moment of suffering for me. This is hurting. As I mentioned last week, used to be a new thought. We taught, don't focus on the bad feelings, right? Just kick them under the rug, right? Because if you focus on them, they're going to expand. And as I said last week, and I love to say, bullshit. Science is finding that that is absolutely not true, right? Because what we don't focus on, what we push away, does what? It gets larger. It's going to come out some other place, right? And I love this because science and spirituality are now working together and finding new realms, new teachings. Not only are they finding that the old teachings and practices that we've used for 1,000 years have science involved, but they're finding some of the practices and the teachings we use aren't effective. So you want to look at what am I denying? The mindfulness is about saying, oh, this is hard. What I'm feeling right now is hard, right? I'm suffering right now. We're not denying it. We're not minimizing it. We're naming it. Awareness, as you know, is the first step to what? Transformation, to change. The second compassion break that she mentions is common humanity. And this is about remembering that we're not alone. Sometimes when we're in our difficult times, our struggles, it feels like we're the only one, doesn't it? No one, I guess. Oh, thank God. All right. I thought you all fell asleep, or Thank you for showing me that you're here. Right? We all experience this. Suffering is part of the human experience. Right? We shouldn't chase it away. We should acknowledge that, wow, I'm suffering right now. Knowing I'm not broken, I'm whole, I'm human. These are human experiences. Everyone struggles, right? This is so important because shame thrives on isolation. It tells us that we're the only one, but compassion reminds us that we are all in this, what? Together. Wow. And to know that myself and to know that with you and for you to know that with others, that builds compassion. It builds community to know that we are sharing this human experience together. And the third aspect of her compassion break, or how to discover self-love, is self-compassion, self-kindness. Right? We want to offer ourselves the same kindness that we would offer a crying child or a hurting friend. Oh, may I be kind to myself. May I give myself what I need. May I accept myself as I am. Wow. I think I put something up here. So this is kind of what I say to myself when I'm hurting, when I'm suffering, is just to recognize this is a moment of suffering. Say it with me. This is a moment of suffering. Okay. Suffering is part of the human experience. Let's say that together. Suffering is part of the human experience. And I commit to being kind to myself. Commit to being kind to myself. Oh. Anybody fans of Rumi? Anybody know Rumi's great poem, The Guest House? I love this poem. Oh my gosh. He says, every morning a new visitor arrives. A joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness. And his advice is, welcome them all. Welcome all that you're feeling. Right? stop fighting ourselves. Treat each guest honorably, because each guest is a gift from beyond. It's here to bring us awareness. It's here to teach us about love. It's here to teach us about how to be more perfect. What if we could greet our emotions, all of them, with hospitality instead of hostility? What if we could say, anger, come in, right? Instead of going, no, stay away from me. I don't want to be angry. Come in. I see you. Have a seat. What do you have to tell me? Because there's a message, right? What if fear shows up, right? Instead of saying, no, go away, I don't want to be afraid. What if we said, come into my house. Tell me what you're afraid of. I recognize you. You've visited me before. What are you protecting me from? And of course, this doesn't mean that we act on every emotion. It means that we stop fighting ourselves and allow ourselves to feel. We stop exhausting ourselves with the civil war within, and we make peace. Part 3, self-love as a spiritual practice. Now you may be thinking, oh, Rev, isn't self-love kind of selfish? Isn't spirituality supposed to be about serving others, not focusing on ourselves? But the truth is, loving yourself isn't selfish. It's the foundation for loving others unconditionally. There's a great story about the Dalai Lama. In the 1990s, he was at a conference with Western psychologists, and someone mentioned the concept of self-hatred, right? And the Dalai Lama stopped. He's like, he looked confused. And he reached over to his translator, and they talked back and forth. It's like he didn't understand. You see, in the Tibetan culture, self-compassion is assumed. It's the starting point. The idea that someone could fundamentally hate themselves, that they could lack basic kindness towards their own beingness, is incomprehensible. And the translators explained to Dalai Lama what it meant. And the Dalai Lama then said, if you don't love yourself, you cannot love anybody else. You will not be able to love anybody else. The source must be there first. We need to love ourselves first. Right? You can't pour something from an empty cup. You have to give what you don't have. Does this make any sense to anybody? And the truth of it is the Course in Miracles says, the world that you see is what you gave it. It's the witness to your state of mind. It's the outside picture of an inside condition. Oh, damn, I hate that. Right? You mean the world is reflecting to me what I'm thinking? Ay, boy, oh, vey. Right? In other words, projection makes perception. When we are at war with ourselves, we perceive attack everywhere. Have you noticed? Everyone's words feel like criticism. Every interaction feels like judgment. We become hypersensitive to threat because we're carrying the threat ourselves. Wow. But when we have peace with ourselves, when we befriend our own being, we can see clearly. We can respond with wisdom instead of reactivity. We can love without agenda. Self-love isn't about becoming better. It's about truly seeing yourself. And when we see ourselves clearly and truly, we see our inherent worth. We can see it in everyone else because we see it in ourselves. So I got a daily practice for you. So I invite you every day to stand in front of the mirror, right? And look in your eyes and to say your name and to say, I see you. I accept you. I am here for you today. So let's say that. I'll invite you to say your name, and then we'll go through this piece by piece. So let's say the first part together. Blaine, I see you. I accept you. I am here for you today. So just try it for a week and see what happens. Because we know when we change ourselves, we change the world. We see the way we see the world, and the world sees us differently. So let's go back to where we started. Loving yourself takes courage, real courage. Not the courage to fix yourself, not the courage to become better, but the courage to stop. Stop the exhausting project of self-improvement. Have the courage to befriend the parts of yourself that you have tried to protect and reject. Have the courage to trust that you're enough. Right here, right now, you are enough. You have everything you need. Doesn't mean you stop growing. It means you grow from love, from the love of yourself. Not from lack, from wholeness, not brokenness, from acceptance, not shame. I love this quote from Anne Lamott. She says, my mind is like a bad neighborhood, right? I try not to go there alone. But here's what I've learned. Most of us just don't visit the bad neighborhood. We've moved in, right? We set up permanent residence and self-criticism and judgment and the belief that we're fundamentally flawed. It's like, get over it. And we think, if I just fix this one more thing about myself, and then I'll be acceptable, or I'll be enlightened. The problem isn't that we need fixing. The problem is that we think that we're broken. So this week I invite you to practice standing in front of the mirror, loving yourself, hugging yourself. When you feel emotions come up that might feel uncomfortable, and instead of pushing them away, hold them. Hold yourself like you would a crying child, and just be with it and say, I love you. I'm here for you. I know who you are. You are perfect just the way you are. Let's say the affirmation together. I invite you to hold yourself, practice, act like you love yourself. Can you do that? And then hold, and really mean it now. I see some people just like, okay, hold on to yourself like you really love yourself, right? Well, it feels good to love yourself, doesn't it? Who needs to go to a football game? Let's just sit home and love ourselves, right? And then once we love ourselves, we might start loving each other. Wow. Right? Imagine that. Ay, ay, ay. Wow. All right. All right. Let's say the affirmation together. I release the war with myself. I embrace the wholeness that I am. I am worthy of my own love. Not someday, not when I'm better, but right here, right now. And so it is. Breathing in and breathing out. Let's take just a moment or two to really love ourselves. I invite you to love yourself like a newborn baby child that you are. The perfect expression of the divine. Having a beautiful human experience. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing. Allowing the energy of love to move through your mind, your body, your spirit. Let's take just a moment to embrace this love in the silence. Breathing in, breathing out. Beginning to bring your awareness back to this moment. To remember how much you are loved. To love yourself. To be present to your feelings. Remember that you're human. That you are whole and complete. And begin to be aware of the light, the rain, the traffic, the music, the chair. And open your eyes when you're ready. And so it is. Amen. So for ourselves, for this ministry, for the new you, for life, for love, all over this planet, let's pray together the prayer for protection, which begins, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And